Hey guys, I wanted to walk you through how I do my foundation routine, basically how I fake a flawless face. I'm going to take you through my very first step, like my skincare products, and then I'm going to take you all the way through blush and bronzer. Last week I broke out pretty badly. This week has been just me trying to cover up what happened last week and try to like heal it and fix it at night with some of my skincare products. So first piece of advice as far as like breaking out goes and trying to cover up any blemishes is you don't want to have any texture on the skin. So you can cover color, but you can't cover texture. So if you have like a really raised blemish, it's going to be a lot harder to cover than say like a flat blemish. Or if you have a lot of dry, flaky skin, you can't really cover that. You can only cover color. So you can cover redness, you can cover darkness, things like that. My two best pieces of advice are obviously exfoliation and moisturization. So pretty basic, but there's two different types of exfoliators that you can do. First is your physical exfoliator. This is your Tarte friction stick. The second would be a chemical exfoliator, which would be like a glycolic acid, like a fruit acid, an enzyme peel, anything like that. Tarte friction stick is great for like everyday use. This is the Drunk Elephant glycolic night serum, which you can use also every night. This is more of like a gentle stick exfoliator. It's charcoal based, which is awesome so it's detoxifying also, but it makes your makeup just glide on super smooth. So I'll usually use this in the morning and then this at night. Next step is to hydrate, and especially if you are acne prone, I suggest a water-based moisturizer. This is a great one for daytime. It's 70% water. It's going to keep you hydrated throughout the entire day, but it doesn't feel heavy. Now it does have a bit of a glow to it, but I prefer to have a glow underneath, and then my face looks more alive when I put all my makeup on. So Tarte Brighter Days moisturizer is one of my favorites. Let me kind of stick my hair back a little bit. All right, so I usually take a little bit of that on my fingers and just put it all over my face. Also very important, you gotta hydrate your under eye area. So I'm using my 100% pure coffee bean eye cream, which is great for if you want just like a little bit of pep on your under eyes. You need a little bit of brightening, a little bit of lifting, a little bit of depuffing, and some hydration. I love this stuff. Then I like to prime my skin, and this is important because it kind of smooths out the surface even further, which again allows you to kind of conceal everything better. So this is my Tarte BB Tinted Primer. I love this stuff. I use this in the shade medium because I have been self-tanning and clearly my face is very fair. So what I try to do is even it out before I go in with a darker foundation. So I take a little bit of this and I rub it between my fingers and I just put it mostly on the center of my face, and then I work it outward. So once you got your primer on, you're ready to kind of start concealing and correcting. So I'm going to zoom in and show you where I have my problem areas, and we're going to color correct them first. Now this is your extra step. This is not a step that I do every single day. This is if I really need to fake my flawless face. If I have a little extra time, I'll go in with color corrector. If I have a really, really bad blemish or my under eyes are especially dark that day, that's when I'll go in with color corrector. I'm using this Tarte palette. There's so many different color correctors that you can use. This is the Wipeout color correcting palette. I like it because it has everything that I need in it. So I'm going to zoom in, show you where I want to correct, and then we will get to correcting. So a lot of these blemishes on my cheek have had a chance to kind of heal over the last week, but I still definitely want to correct them just so I can show you guys how well I can conceal them. So like especially right here, and then I had a crazy breakout over here last week, which was very strange for me, but you know, it happens. So I'm going to take the minty green color corrector and I'm just going to do a little bit at a time, just concealing on the blemish. So you can see I just have a little bit of that minty kind of green color corrector spread around. I'm just going to go in with my Quickie blending sponge and just gently kind of blend it in. You don't want to have any like lines or anything. Oh, I forgot my forehead. This is the worst blemish. This was like there forever. All right, that one. And then there's a little one right here. This one's kind of hard to conceal, you guys. I've had to do lots of layers over the past week or so. Then I'm going to take either the peach one or the pink one. It doesn't really matter at this point. I'm just going to color correct my under eyes because I'm here. Again, I'll do this on a regular basis, but since I'm in this palette, I'm going to take a little bit of a mixture of both of those and might as well just color correct the darkness under there. And just a little bit, and then again blend it in. That's my easy version of color correcting. It's nothing crazy or intense. I could go further and color correct like darkness around my mouth, but it's not super realistic for me to do this every single day. So next I go with my foundation, and I have been loving this Power fabric from Armani. I use the shade 6.5. It matches my self tan like perfectly. It's a great color match for me. I'm obsessed with it, and it lasts all day. It looks really good on my skin. I've been really loving it. So I usually just go in, I'll do like a couple swipes. Quickie blending sponge. I usually use the larger side. And then I'll just tap it in. And I like to work in really small layers so that I don't overwhelm my face with the product, basically. This stuff is not full coverage, and I kind of need / want a full coverage. So I usually go in with 2 layers of this. I use a decent amount of product. Probably too much of it, but it's fine. If it works, it works. And then I go in again. Make sure it's all pushed into the skin. Depending on how much coverage I need, or like what the state of my skin is in, I'll kind of switch up the layering process. So this is what the foundation covered. It covers a decent amount, but definitely we need a little bit more concealing going on. This cheek looks good though. This cheek didn't have any really active blemishes on it, so you can see the foundation like looks pretty. It's covered, but not cakey looking. Okay, so my next step is concealing, and this is an important step because this is basically your last chance to make sure everything is covered and perfect. Not saying you have to look perfect every day. Trust, I do not look perfect every day, but again, this is how to fake a flawless face, so this is how you're gonna get it to look flawless. So Shape Tape Concealer is my ultimate favorite. I think it's most people's favorite. It just works well, does its job. It looks pretty all day. Love it. Generally speaking, I use the shade Light Medium, which is my favorite shade. So I'm going to go back in the area where I do have like scarring and do like a generous amount on those areas. So I'm really gonna get a good layer. Again, we can layer it more afterwards, but I'm gonna just get a decent layer around my nose. I'm gonna do blemishes. The reason I like to let it sit on areas, especially like over here, I want it to like dry a little bit so that when I go in with my sponge, it doesn't kind of wipe away all the product. I want some of it to really like stick and stay on there and make it look flawless. So I'm gonna start to slowly buff it into the skin, and I do that by just tapping, and I use the pointed side of the sponge for that. Now, unless I have a really like large blemish like that, I just keep it in that area, but otherwise I kind of just spread out the product a little bit, like across the chin, a little on the nose. Just make sure everything is concealed that I want concealed. I'm gonna start to conceal my under eyes, and I do use the same concealer, like the color wise under my eyes. I don't know, I just really like this color. I tried the Light Medium Honey. That's not bad. I just prefer the Light Medium. I feel like it works better with this skin tone. And I just kind of blend it in. And then I'll start to push the product into the blemish area. And again, you might have to layer it a couple times. That's fine. And I don't expect it to ever look perfect, but I can get a decent concealment out of it. I don't know if that's a word. Just kind of push it in. All right, so my foundation and my concealer and everything else is on. I think it looks pretty good, pretty decent, especially for how my skin started. I feel like this is a good kind of happy medium for me. So I'm gonna go in and set my face. And I like to use a powder foundation, either a loose or pressed. Right now I've been loving my Smooth Operator Amazonian Clay Tinted Finishing Powder from Tarte. I usually use the shade Medium. This is actually the shade Light, which I think will be fine because it's actually pretty sheer. I just don't know where my medium shade went. But I like to take a decently fluffy brush, and this is an Hourglass #1 brush. I basically swirl in right here, and I push it into the skin. Nothing crazy. I just go in and push it in. I just want to kind of set everything into place. Sometimes this will knock off a little bit of your concealer. If you feel the need to, you can go back in and kind of, you know, do another layer. today I'm fine. But if I was going somewhere like really important, maybe I would. Next step in my routine is contouring. I usually use my Tarte Pro Glow palette and I take the powder contour color. I have a couple different contour brushes that I like. I've been using this one. I don't love it, but it works. The M523 from Morphe. Everyone loves these brushes. I don't know. I'm like not that impressed, but that's just me. So I'm just gonna take it in the hollows of my cheeks. Sometimes I'll go like a little bit higher up to create more of a lifted cheek. It's just all about like creating that illusion. And I'm not really too precise with my contour because I blend it out with bronzer anyway, but I do like to kind of cut the cheek in half right there. And it creates like instant illusion of a higher cheek, like a higher lifted cheekbone. Look at that. Is anyone watching Orange is the New Black this season? I really like it. I'm almost done actually. I'm on episode like 12. I'll probably honestly be finished by the time I post this. But it's really good. I'm a fan of this season. I didn't like last season. I wasn't a fan. But this one I really like. I'm just doing a little nose contouring. I just like it because it's kind of like drama filled and it's like fun to watch. Last season was kind of boring. But no, I'm a fan of this one. I just wish it didn't all come out at once because honestly, like I go through it so fast. I don't watch that much TV, but I do watch that show. I like Shameless and like Pretty Little Liars. Other than that, not really watching much else. I love The Vampire Diaries, but obviously it's over. Oh, actually I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale, but it kind of freaks me out. I don't know if I can continue watching it because it scares me, but I can't stop watching. But I like it. It's good. Good stuff. Okay, so that's my contour. It's not like perfect or anything. I just kind of like to get it on there and then I'll go in with my bronzer and blend it out. Okay, so I usually use my Tarte Park Princess. This is the shimmer bronzer. It's my favorite. I just feel like it looks so good. Gives me a little bit of a glow, and I like to use it with my Wayne Goss bronzing brush. It's just fluffy and really nice. So start at the hairline up here normally, and then on the cheek, literally right on top of the contour, and I'm basically just blending it out. That's the goal. Blend it so you don't see any lines. And I just go in like little, I go like back and forth, but I also do like little circles, and like sometimes I'll just go like little back and forth motions across the cheek to really get that line to blend. But you want to keep the same general shape as your contour. Under the nose. You can add as much or as little bronzer as you want. I tend to overdo the bronzer, but my skin also tends to eat it. So midday, I'll always add a little bit extra bronzer. I'll do a little like under my chin. Now you can see my face like really matches my body better, which kind of just brings it all together. And if you have a bigger cheek, you're going to want to do like a wider area of bronze like me. So kind of bring it down a little bit, create like a blushed look. Because I don't like a ton of blush, but I like a touch. Okay, for blush, I usually use Sensual blush from Tarte. I use this every single day. I like it because it's nude and I don't like a lot of color. I just like a little bit of color. So I take this, and blush brush doesn't really matter. I usually use, I have a NARS one. I don't know where it went. Whatever. I'm just going to take this random brush, and I just like to take a little bit of that right on like the side of the cheek where the apple kind of starts, and then brush it backward. Just adds a touch of color, guys. I don't like a lot of blush at all. And I don't normally highlight right now because I felt like when I was highlighting frequently, I was breaking out all along my cheekbone where I was highlighting, and I just don't really feel like dealing with that, so I stopped highlighting. I'll just take my powder brush and gently just kind of tap on top of it. Oh wait, actually, I need to spray my face, and I'm using my Skindinavia makeup finishing spray, oil-free. I love it. Shake it up and then go right in. I like a good spray, so I really like douse myself in it, and then I fan it down And then last but not least, I'll show you, I set with a little bit more powder, but this time I go in with a translucent loose powder. And for that, I love the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra powder. It's smoothing, it's like not hydrating, but I don't know, it just gives a really good look to the skin. So I take a tiny brush with it. This is like a highlighting brush. And I take a little bit of product, work it into the brush, and then I go, well, you want to make sure it's really dry. I go on my chin, like there. I'm kind of oily, keep in mind. Then I go sides of the nose, a little bit on like the front of the cheek right there where I have pores. Well, everyone has pores, but you know. It kind of blurs them out. It's amazing, this powder. It's so good. And then I go right in between the forehead. A little bit. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see the flawless face look. You can tell that it's all covered pretty well. It looks like skin. I get so many compliments on this skin look. It's not perfect, but neither is my skin underneath. But everyone's like, oh, you have such nice skin, what do you do? And I'm like, it's literally makeup. And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, no, really. It 100% is the makeup. Now I'm gonna show them this video because this is really just how to fake a flawless face. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. Request more videos in the comment section down below. I'm gonna try to keep the videos coming. I hope you enjoy this. This is my new bedroom. Well, it's not that new. I moved it here in like March, so it's been a couple months, but it's a little messy over in that corner, but you guys can't really see that, so it's fine. I'd love to hear from you, and I will talk to you soon. Make sure to follow me on Snapchat, Makeup Nikki, and Instagram, Makeup Nikki also, because you can keep up with my life. We'll Snapchat, we'll be Insta friends, all that fun stuff. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.